as possible. It's almost 6 a.m. in the morning here, and I had a really rough night. I was not feeling too well. It was so bad. But now I feel fine. I woke up and I feel fine. But I think writing now is such a habit that my body can't function in any other way, which is good. Which is good. I've made a coffee as well. Hi everyone, this is a writing stream, so if you want to write any stories, please do come along. Right. Oh, this is a writing stream, Anthony. I'm a writer. Morning, Kat. How are you? I had such a bad night last night. I was so tired. And I was so ill. Oh, you're pretty for a chubby girl. I'm not chubby though, am I? And I think you know that. But bless you, Anya. What are you doing for New Year's? Nothing. Everyone here is ill. I've never seen anything quite like it. So many people seem to be ill and still falling ill or exhausted. I'm fine, but everyone else is very ill. So the likelihood is we're not doing anything tomorrow. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I think there's a virus going around and it's still going around. So many of my teaching colleagues, so many friends here, they've been at home for the last week. So yeah, I don't know, but everyone is taking the time to rest so they can start the new year on a high note, but everyone is ill. I've tried to arrange hikes with friends, wine, go out for wine. No one can do anything. So I think there's a really bad virus going around. I'm lucky because I've been immune. Well, not immune. I've been careful. I've been really careful. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I am keeping safe because I don't want to fall ill. I don't want to fall ill. Hi, Caleb. If you don't get sick, that's really good. You must just be very strong, but I'm out of everyone here I know is ill or exhausted, so I don't know what's going on. I think there's just something going on with the viruses, the weather, everything. And it's very cold at the moment and it's very foggy, which is probably not helping at all. Okay, so I'm going to keep on writing Heathens. That's what I've been working on over the last few days. Well, that's what I've been working on permanently. And I'm still working on this scene. I didn't know it would take me so long to write this, but I'm still working on it, and I'm happy because it's going really well. It's aligning with the rest of the plot in the books, and it is shaping up to be a very interesting plot and a very interesting story. So I want to make sure I get it right. If anyone is working on anything at the moment, please do share. I'm trying to finish a short horror story about a vampire stuck on a boat, like a fishing boat or a large vessel. I'm just wondering because I always thought vampires could fly, but I guess the whole vampire could fly theory has come from What We Do in the Shadows. I don't know if any other vampires can fly. That's just my thinking. What is wrong with this? I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It's not standing up anymore. Oh, 1 second. My tripod is acting up. Well, I can see why it's acting up. It's completely bent around. I'm still waiting for my other tripod to arrive. It should arrive any day now, but does nothing, does it? Let's try that. Maybe that will help. Yeah, I'm still waiting for stuff to arrive, which is not too bad, but... Well, a short horror story about a vampire stuck in a boat. That sounds interesting. And it's a horror story as well. So I haven't been able to sort out the filters yet, or the filters, or the chat in the channel yet. So some trolls might come around, but I will sort them out when they do. So yeah, well, I should have the filters sorted and everything else, but I haven't done that yet. Hello, hi everyone. If you're writing a story or poem, or you're writing anything or drawing anything, please do come along. Okay, this is not. Oh dear. Dan, the breaking news man. Oyinda, what schooling did you take for writing? Could you talk about your background prior to writing books? I've never had any schooling with writing. I just started writing. But I did read a lot of books when I was a kid. I think if you read a lot, I read a lot as a kid. We always had books in the house. So we had a home library. So there was a lot of reading going on. And that was it. I didn't take any form of schooling to write or to become a writer. I think the more exposed you are to books and to reading and to that sort of thing, the better it gets. Yeah. And just to wild events culture, I grew up in quite a vibrant culture, so that really does help with your imagination as well. I hope that helps. But you don't have to have any schooling to go into writing. You just write. But I mean, it doesn't mean that when I write now everything is correct, because I still have to have my editor come in and change sentences, change repetitive sentences, words, that sort of thing. I used to live in London. I am in Hungary-ish. I'm in Central Europe. So it's just after 6 here. So it's an hour ahead of London. I'm going to be on for the rest of the next few weeks, yeah, because I'm writing every day at the moment. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, yeah, I'll be on because there'll be nothing really going on. We're not having any celebrations. Okay. Right. Okay. So if anyone's writing anything, please do share. I know someone's writing a vampire horror story, which sounds fascinating. I'm writing about witches and warlocks. What kind of research do you do prior to writing about certain things like witches and warlocks? I didn't do any research because, and this is what I said about growing up in certain cultures, because in certain cultures, the concept of I'm bringing out a video about this actually, but in certain cultures, the concept of witchcraft is still very much alive. It's not folklore. It's not fantasy. Like in the West, witches are very romanticized. They're very, they either have cauldrons at Halloween and they have pointy hats. Oh, this camera. They have pointy hats and all of that. But really, in my culture, I'm Nigerian. Witches are they are real. They're part of nature. They're part of the environment, and there's something to be feared, but they're also something to be respected. So when I write about this, I just use those different concepts because I think when people write about witches, and usually in the West as well, it's a very romantic version of witches, and it's a very, they're either very good or they're very bad. But the way I view them is it's half and half. It's a mixture. It's not one or the other. So I find it very easy to write, and it's something I wanted to write years ago, but the publishing houses were not happy with my point of view from a less romantic point of view. They wanted me to write it if it was going to be funny or romantic, or they wanted a certain spiel, which I wasn't happy with. Yeah, so I didn't have to do much research at all, because these stories were stories that we were always told as children, and a lot of us still believe that the witches are nearby, the witches are coming for you, the witches around the corner. So there's this heightened fear, and I realize that it's fed into the way I live my life as well. I'm very careful in forest and in woodland, because forest and woodland in Africa are natural stomping grounds for witches. So I'm very, very careful. And even when you look at popular culture now, you look at music videos, you look at all of that, there is because now we have organised religion, which came with the British colonisation, but beneath that is still the old beliefs and the old superstitions as well. So when you've grown up with it, you don't really have to research it. It's something that you can make up. You can make up a story very easily, in your mind. I hope that was clear, but let me know if it wasn't. I do waffle on a bit. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm glad. Are you working on any writing, Dan? Not yet, still getting ideas and motivation. No speech from me about motivation. You should just write. You should just write. Don't wait for the ideas to come. Just start writing them down. Whatever pops into your head, however stupid it might sound, write it down. That's how I see it, because every idea I've had, I've always been able to form or make into a story. Hello, greetings from Mexico City. Hello, Antonio. Okay, how should I choose a good editor or proofreader when it comes to that point? Yeah, okay, this is where it gets a bit dicey. You have to have a good editor because a good editor will be able to spot a lot of errors in your work, a lot of continuity errors, maybe writing errors. And when I say writing errors, I don't necessarily mean spelling. Your spelling could be amazing, but there could be issues with your punctuation, or you might use British. If you write an entire book in British English, so you have British English, you have American English, right? If you write an entire book in British English, you have to make sure that it's British English for the entire book. You can't swap to American English halfway through. And when I say American English, I mean the spellings, because there are different spellings between between British English and American English. So an editor will help you just point all these little things out. It's not really good to change the spelling. You either start writing it in one form of English and finish it in that same form of English, okay? So I would say if you want to look for an editor, you have to look very carefully. And I would say go on places like that have groups. Go on places that have groups, and there's also a SFP, an editors group, I believe. There's one in the US and there's one in the UK. So you need to approach them and just be very, very careful. If an editor approaches you, I would not go with that. If an editor ever approaches you, I wouldn't go with that editor because it's likely to be a scam. Okay? If you have to go after the good editors, you have to go after them. The very good editors, you have to go after them. And not enough, you don't have to chase them, but you email them respectfully and you say, look, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I write. Certain editors as well will only edit certain books in certain genres. Sirens? Okay. So if you say you're writing a sci-fi, they might not want to edit a book about sci-fi. They might want to do fantasies. They might want to do dark academia. They might want to do things like just certain genres that they're used to editing. But I would say go for groups. Don't when someone if you think you find someone, go through their track record. What have they edited? Who have they worked with? They don't have to have worked with big editors. That doesn't matter. I've had 2 editors. My first editor was amazing. She had worked with all the huge publishing houses, but she was willing to work with me as well. I'm a very small author. My second editor, she's amazing. She only works with indie. She only works with indie authors. She doesn't work with anyone else, and she's amazing as well. So it depends. No, sorry. How much should be written before I should get an editor? Could I write a few chapters first? No. Make sure the book is finished. These guys, their time is very limited. Actually, I'm going to make a video about this. Their time is very limited. They don't have the capacity to deal with maybe or a few chapters. If you're going to send them work and they're going to edit it, you're going to get billed, you're going to get charged. So only go about it when your actual manuscript is ready. Okay, only go about it when your actual manuscript is ready. Don't approach them with a half-written manuscript or a few chapters first. No, because to finish a book takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication and a lot of commitment. So you have to be prepared for that. Okay? So only approach them. I mean, you can start looking before you finish the book. You can start looking before you finish the book, but only approach them after the book is, only approach them when the book is ready. And it could be as well that you have to wait a certain amount of time. And they can say yes to the work, and you agree on a date, and the date sometimes could be 6 months ahead of time. So, you know, just because they say yes, we can edit your work, doesn't mean they're going to do it on the spot right there and then. It could take time to do it, okay? It can take time to do it, so you have to be very patient with them. That's one thing. And then the second thing is, if you agree to a date, please, please, please try and make sure your work is ready on that date. If you're not going to be ready, it's only respectful to let them know ahead of time, because they can put another author in that space, yeah, in that booking. So it's very, very important. Okay, so that's an idea for another video. Sirens had me looking out my window. I'm in the hood just watching this live as a scapegoat. Better for writing lessons. Okay. So yeah, please, if you're going after editors, that those guys are busy. We're going into another recession. Their time is very valuable. Please make sure your manuscript is ready, and please approach them respectfully. And yeah. No problem, Dan. Oh, I'm not left-handed. I'm using the camera's inverted. I'm right-handed. I can't write with my left hand at all. What did you ask, Goals? What was your question? Oh, yeah, it was about the. I'm not left-handed. I'm right-handed, but the camera is inverted. I can't write with both hands. No, I can only write with one. I can't write with. This is my left hand, but the camera is inverted or whatever. But I only write with my right hand. Yeah. I do have a lot of respect for people who can write with their left hands. I think that's an amazing skill, but I can't do it. Oh, thank you, Rex. Yeah, I love writing with the pen and ink. It's very therapeutic. No, from I'm writing with my right hand. Ah, if he draws anime, I think that's quite big on social media. He could start a social media page drawing anime. A lot of people find that very therapeutic, you know? If you have an ink, so you got some ink, and you have a quill, so you have probably the feather, I don't know, because I just have one of these. I just have, so, oh, out of options here. So I have these, you just pop, these always get stuck. I think because they're by a window. Yeah, there we go, it's coming out. We have these. Yeah, this is too stuck. I don't want to waste time trying to get this out. But you have these pens, and you just put the tips in. And that's what it looks like. It's really cool, and you can just use them over and over. So you can build up quite a collection. You have this one as well. Okay, this is a lot easier. So you have that. You can just buy one of those, and you just get the nib. I call them nibs. I don't know if that's the right word. And just pop them in. and your writing comes up beautiful, and that's all you have to do, you know? And it's just very therapeutic to write this way. And all you need is some ink, a good bottle of ink, and you're good to go. So definitely practice. Thank you, Jorge. If you have a small channel, that's good. Because I think a lot of people take pleasure in watching people draw, especially more. I would just get bottled ink, like these bottles. They're quite popular. Just search for bottled ink online, and they're very easy to get. These are available all around the world. I have several of these, just bottled ink. I remove the stickers and I just put my stickers on, and I just refill with ink. So just look for bottled ink. They're so plentiful and so available. Yeah, I've heard that cursive writing is not so. I don't know what country you're in, goals. I've heard that cursive writing is. I mean, I wasn't taught cursive writing at school, but I picked it up from my family. And I've heard that people do want it taught in schools, but they don't do that anymore, which is quite interesting. Daniel, I am Nigerian. I'm British Nigerian. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that I've noticed that when I've taught some kids, I teach English sometimes. Their writing is deplorable. I don't understand a word of what they write in their language or in English, so it's really, really bad. Yeah. Hopefully it gets better, but I think depending on what part of the world you're in, if no funding is going towards education, New Jersey, US, yeah, you're going through a lot in terms of your education system, aren't you? Unfortunately. So that's why parents have to take the time, to teach the kids, because the government and the schools aren't going to do it, unfortunately. Well, I wasn't taught cursive. I was taught to write neatly at school, but I wasn't taught cursive. And I didn't start doing cursive until I was older. Yeah. But I find it easier to write in cursive because for me it's a lot faster. Here in Mexico, we can buy that ink on Office Depot or Walmart. I don't know if there are some stores like those. These will be everywhere. These bottles will be everywhere, but you don't know. You have to Google it for your various countries to know where to find it, and then you find that there'll always be supplies. But because they're not used by everyone anymore, but they'll be everywhere. Because trust me, when I've been traveling and I've wanted ink, I've always found ink. Or like Amazon will have them as well. Amazon will have lots of these. Oh, thank you, Sheila. It's hard to understand our school system, and all they're doing is laptops. Yeah, that's not very good. Yeah, one is an artist and the eldest is a musician, so they're into the arts. Yeah, you have to sort of help them along with that, because I think a lot of schools aren't focusing on that anymore. But I don't know what the situation is like in the US. I mean, I've heard of parts of the US, but yeah, the world needs more musicians, writers, artists, definitely. Definitely. And I think that if my parents hadn't taken, my grandparents, my uncles, my aunts, if they hadn't taken an interest in what I was doing and encouraged me to just sit down and write and sit down and draw and just sit down and just exist, I wouldn't have been able to foster my writing. You should learn to play the piano, Daniel. Yeah, yeah. Homeschooling seems like a good option. Oh, thank you, goals. On the sound of the pen, yeah, a lot of people like that. A lot of people like the sound of the pen. My favorite fantasy author at the moment is a writer called Ben Aronovich. He wrote the Rivers of London books. He wrote Rivers of London. Ben Aronovich. I love his stories. You should look him up. The series is Rivers of London. Very, very good. It's the first fantasy series where I genuinely laughed. It was really, really funny. And I've never had a fantasy writer, because I don't believe fantasy should be funny, but I've never had a fantasy author make me laugh like that, and he did. So he's got a skill. He's got an amazing skill, and he understands. He is a Lithuanian Jewish guy, I believe. That's his ancestry. That's where he's from. But he now lives in London. I think he's British now. And amazing writer, very good writer, very immersive writer. And he's also extremely, he can make you laugh, which is really hard to find in fantasy, so, pretty good, pretty good. Oh, I've been doing this since I was 8. I've been writing since I've been writing for as long as I can remember, but my earliest, documented writing was when I was about 8 years old, so yeah, I've been doing it, but luckily I was encouraged to write, and we had a library, and we had books and pens all around the house, so I just got used to it. And because I think when you see your parents writing, you write as well. When you see your parents reading, you read as well. So you emulate whatever your parents do, you know. But yeah, it was great. I love my childhood. It was amazing. I don't write anything on true life events. I only write fantasy and dark academia. So I'm not a non-fiction writer. Oh, everything's on Amazon. All my books are on Amazon at the moment. They're in KU as well, Kindle Unlimited, so all available there. So if you look at the description for this live stream, there should be a description. It should be, there'll be links in the description to my Amazon page. What's your topic? I'm writing fantasy, Sean. If that's what you mean. What's your topic? Fantasy? Oh dear, what is that? Why is that a hair? It's the camera. It's my camera. I'm using my phone camera at the moment, and I can't use my back camera. I can only use my front camera. So it's showing me, it's inverting me, I believe. Oh, you like dark fantasy? That's good, Oster. No, the Harry Potter is more for middle school. It was Harry Potter was created more for middle schoolers, but it gained popularity with older people. That's why it seems watered down. So a meeting, maybe when you get famous, what a meeting that you before. Yeah, maybe. But there's so many authors who write and just write and without wanting infamy. It's just about writing and getting stories out. Oh, I just had a fascinating idea. Yes. Okay, so oh, thank you, Dan. That's really lovely. That's really nice of you to say. So I'm going to have, because today is what's the date today? Today is the 30th. Okay, so it's going to have to be in the new year. So I'm going to do a book reading, a live book reading on, I can schedule it for New Year's Day. But I don't even know if that's a good idea because that'll be the 31st. Actually, I'll schedule it for the day after New Year's Day. But I am going to schedule this one, so people know about it, and actual subscribers to the channel know about it as well. And yeah, because I think I need to do more live readings. I don't do them enough, and I think that'll be quite. I'll try and make it immersive and stuff without, spooking people too much. Okay, I'm going to end the live stream there because I'm going to go for a walk, get some more coffee. It's very foggy outside. It's very dark and very foggy and very cold, so there's a heavy fog, which hasn't lifted in a few days. Okay, so I will be back tomorrow for the regular live stream, but I will schedule this the live reading for Wednesday, not Wednesday my time. So that'll be, yeah. Right now here it is 7 a.m. in the morning, but I wake up very early. Okay, so thank you, Kat. Thank you, Goals. Thank you, Dan. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Okay, bye. Have a lovely day. 1 a.m. Wow, yeah. That must be like the west, probably the west coast. I don't know. Okay, bye. Why does this never work? There we go, it's worked now.